So I'm just going to be, so I just thought of doing a Zoom, just have guys that have been in Plexus for some years and how they support their wives and just how we can work together as a team. So I have Justin Goff with us. He was kind enough to come on and share. Jonathan Jost and Wes Harbridge. I don't know if I pronounced your last name right, but yeah, it's going to be good. So while we're sharing, if anyone has questions, just feel free to type it in the chat. And my wife, Sarah, she's going to be keeping an eye on that. And and then after we're done sharing, if there's any questions, we can just get to that. And yeah. So are we good to go, Sarah?
Yeah, good to go.
So I have Justin Goff leading us off here. So Justin, how has your role in Plexus and in supporting your wife Megan changed from when you started? You were working a job to let's say now, where you're working from home, and then also a second question, if you can just share just a bit on the importance of good communication between husband and wife in the Plexus business.
Sure. So I mean, well, how it's changed. We've been in this now since 2015. We started 2015 for the products, and then it's kind of morphed into the business that it is today. So we didn't join necessarily for a business, even though I was praying for a business at the time. I just knew that anything pink and network marketing was not the answer to that prayer, right? And little did I know it was. It just took some time to realize it. But when we started, again, we started for the products, and then my wife had the idea of doing this as a business, and she came to me and said, "Hey, there's a big business opportunity with Plexus." And I just told her, "No way." I said, I'm a construction guy, I'm an Army guy. I am not a network marketing guy. Like, this is not for me. And so she asked, and again, I was praying at the time for a business opportunity. I have 5 sons, I have 2 daughters. And I was working road construction at the time. I was supervising projects, but my heart was I wanted to be home more. I was gone all the time, and I didn't want to miss out on raising my kids. You know, I think my thought is, if you have all the money in the world and you miss out on that, you really missed out, right? And so I was really praying, and then she asked about the business opportunity, and I said, "Listen, I love the products, but I am not doing this." And she said, "Okay." And I said, "Go ahead, you do it. I'll support you. I'll be your biggest cheerleader. I'll take the products, but I'm not sharing this with anybody." She said, "Okay." So it took her 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, I think back in 2015, they would send a check stub. And we got a check stub in the mail for, it was either $300 or $500. I don't remember which one it was. Either way, it exceeded my expectations of network marketing. And my first response was, "Is this legal? Because they just sent you money and we don't even know what you did." Like, we had no idea, you know, we didn't know how she was getting paid. They just sent her money because she was sharing with some friends on Facebook. And so we determined it was legal and we weren't going to jail for some scheme she got us involved in, right? And I started to think, I said, you know, I really like these products. I've been praying for a business opportunity, and you just made $300. You know, it takes me a lot of hours away from home to make $300. And I thought, at that point, said, you know, I'm going to start looking into this industry. I'm going to start looking into Plexus as a business and just see what I can learn, because I didn't have a bad experience with network marketing. I just had no knowledge of what it really was. And so I started studying, and then the more I learned, the more I thought this is a legitimate industry if you have good products, if you have good leadership, and if you have a good compensation plan. And we, fortunately for us, Plexus had all three. And so I started sharing in the summer of 2015. I started on my job site, sharing with my guys, and my team started to grow. And by September 2016, we had over doubled my construction salary, and I left road construction September 2016, and I've been home ever since, just working Plexus. So that's a short version of a 7-year story, or almost 8-year story. But as far as communication, my wife and I we both work Plexus. She's a diamond and I'm a diamond both. We homeschool our kids. We have, I said, 5 sons, 2 daughters. We have soccer, we have volleyball, we have baseball, we have basketball, we have goats, we have chickens. I think we're getting a donkey. So, communication, as you're talking about, how important is it? It's vital. We have to communicate. So we have weekly planning meetings. We talk every night. We drop the ball a lot because there's just a lot of moving parts, and there's things we don't talk about. But as far as running this business together, it's we have to communicate. There's just too many moving parts not to communicate. So let's see. You said, if I'm just reading the question, is to expound if your wife doesn't share with you what she's doing or what she's expecting, or vice versa. Like, it can get really difficult, frustrating. Yeah, just, we all know that if you're married, if you don't communicate, whether you're in Plexus or not in Plexus, if you're not communicating, you're headed towards trouble at some point. So, just, we have to communicate, and we probably need to get better at it. I don't think it's something we're still learning how to do. But that's a snapshot of really our business. And as far as communication, there's just a lot of cool things going on, and the opportunity with Plexus is life-changing. It really is. I'm going to an event in Nashville this coming weekend, and tonight I'm signing my first Mexican male ambassador. So there's a lot of cool things, lots of different opportunities. Not my first one, but my first one this year. And so, the sky's the limit on this. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin. That was good. Yeah, I don't think anyone's arrived on communication, but you can leave and grow. I know for us too, we plan things like Zooms and stuff, and then we have to communicate. Does this work, or we just make it work, right? So
right.
So batting in the 2 spot, Jonathan Jost. So regardless of where some of you got guys how you want to support, whether it's just support or supporting working the business, there's some there'll be something here for all of you. So John, in every successful business, there's always going to be people behind the scenes that make things happen, and they're very important to the team. You think of big events, planning and movies. You may never see the people doing the preparation and behind the scenes, but they're vitally important. So share with us what it looks like for you in supporting Charla, behind the scenes, and however that may look like for you. I know you both support each other well. You run your own business as well. So so I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, you bet. First off, thanks for the invite, Abe. This is great to do it with you and Justin and Wes, and thank you for your excellent thoughts there, Justin. So my wife and I each run our own business, and we're both very much go-getters. So the communication part is very important for sure, and it wasn't something that we mastered right away, but we're definitely getting better at it. Um, absolutely, right? Anytime there's something successful, there's people working behind the scenes, and I definitely do what I can. I think for me, the biggest thing that I had to grow in off the bat was my mindset. Um, I, when we first started this, I think I subconsciously felt like, okay, we've got so much going on. If Charlotte's going to do this, she kind of needs to do it in the nooks and crannies. You can't disrupt our life very much. And I was very wrong in that. And this might resonate with some of you husbands who are just starting out in this business. Um, the good things in life don't come easy, right? And the more we've learned about this, this is an amazing opportunity to be able to not only make an amazing salary or income through this business, but to be able to help so many people with their health, help so many people be able to build income from home. I don't know anywhere else that you can have this opportunity. So wasn't convenient for us. We didn't go into it looking for a business. Um, my construction business has already always been very, very busy, and God gave us a pretty substantial season of sickness with our whole family, and uh, yeah, kind of felt the same way you did, Justin, where we tried everything else before we tried Plexus, and God kind of lined it up for us that we didn't have any other choice. And Wes and Sherry had some amazing health results with the Plexus products, and so they were some of our best friends. So we decided we'd give it a try and at least prove them wrong. And it was unreal the difference it made for our family. And it wasn't, oh, I wonder if it was Plexus that changed that for us or helped us with those symptoms. And it was very marked difference as soon as we started on the products, both for my wife and our kids and myself. So we're very thankful for that. Um, scheduling is important for sure. Uh, Charlotte and I are trying to get better at having weekly meetings. We've chosen Sunday evening where we can kind of plan out, you know, what days are extra crazy for us, and we can kind of set expectations and talk through what nights would work well to schedule events or meetings. Um, what else? Like we have 9 kids as well, so there's quite a few things happening there. Um, communication goes a long ways. Uh, one of the things I do when I get home from work to alleviate some of the extra mom pressures is I'll help make supper if it's not made yet. Um, my wife is a phenomenal person and she gives it her all. So if I'm covering for her, it's only because she's done all that she possibly can. The other thing that we've tried to do is really uh, help our kids believe in what we're doing, and they've really caught on to that. So they are a huge part of the behind the scenes in our home. Uh, our oldest four especially really get behind it and are always happy to help make the things that need to happen. So the other practical thing that I've committed to doing is bedtime. So after supper, after when it's bedtime, Charlotte can go to her room and have, you know, an hour or so just to get caught up on messages and, you know, kind of debrief her brain a little bit. So um like I said, the good things in life don't come easy. Uh if your wife is doing this, she's gonna need encouragement. Every time you go into network marketing, there's gonna be highs and lows. And it's so important to walk your wife through those low spots, and speak the truth to her when she's feeling discouraged, when, you know, a chain of things that didn't work out or whatever it would be, right? So be ready and willing to hold her hand through those times and speak belief into her. So that, and I also enjoy enjoy sharing about the products myself to clients or friends, different people who it might be helpful for. So yeah, any other questions, Abe?
No, that was awesome. Thank you, John. That I enjoyed it. That's really good. Those were all very important things, and a few of those were topics I can grow and learn to get better at. I mean, I think I don't think anyone's ever arrived, but
Definitely not. I if I
definitely a
sounded
few
like that,
reminders there for me to
I absolutely have not.
yeah, like for me, I know how I work the business has kind of changed in seasons. Like right now I'm home, so this winter primarily I just focused on I probably did 95% of the dinners. That allowed Sarah to do
That's
Zooms
awesome.
and messages and things like that. And sometimes I need a break from that. So and there's been seasons where I did a lot of work in talking to people and trying to sign up people. Last week Sarah went Sapphire, and
Yes.
I was trying to do both. I signed up a person as well, and talking to people. So yeah, it's awesome. It's definitely not easy both working together from home. It has its challenging, and it has you have to be in some ways more disciplined than a normal job, but it definitely has its rewards, and it's a lot of fun. It's a blessing. So Wes, uh, share with us what are some ways of how you work the business together with your wife Sherry, and also tell us why it's so important uh, to support your wife, even if you're not in the front lines working it, like just showing up to events or involving yourself in the Plexus community, of how that can be important.
Yeah, well, thank you, Abe, for having me on. And yeah, it's definitely been encouraging listening to John and Justin and kind of telling their story. And I think everything's changed. I mean, we've been with Plexus for 9 years now. We started back in 2014. And so everything's changed through that time, and how I support and what that looks like. I know when we started, um, we did start for the business. We also started for my health. And like John said, encouraging my wife was a big thing through that getting started, learning how to use social media, because we came into it, we didn't know how to use social media at all. And so there's a lot of learning that took place, both of us trying to figure this out and kind of make a go of it. And I think some of the biggest things that stand out in how I've been able to support her is simple things like keeping her phone charged, um, making meals, putting the kids to bed. Um, like John said there too, kind of going over schedule when things are happening, so that I know when I'm available to make sure those things happen, to make sure she has the quiet place for Zooms, to make sure she has the proper equipment to do it. The computer's working well, the software's up to date, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like the stuff in the background, like you're mentioning at the beginning, and John was talking about. There's so many things in the background that happen to make the business flow smoothly. So that's kind of the thing that's been ongoing. All those pieces there. Sometimes brainstorming with Sherry on how to tackle different Zooms. And then, when we're out and there's events to go to, or even Zoom events like this, and being on the event with her, just sitting beside her, that is a huge moral support for her. And I think that's, like John said, is a huge deal in giving encouragement to her, because it's something I believe in. And together, us both showing up shoulder to shoulder, it lends us that type of legitimacy when the husband is involved with this, network marketing, pink drink, with his wife, right? I mean, there's a lot of legitimacy there. And a lot of guys look at pink and go, oh, really? And network marketing, and so I believe it's important to show up with your wife, and not so much to be trailing behind, following her, but actually standing shoulder to shoulder with her as a team, because that's what you are. You are a team, right? And again, that just lends legitimacy to the business. It lends legitimacy to the product. And so I really feel that's really important. A lot of events, and this has changed, this has been changing through the years. There'll be a lot of people who come up to me at live events and go, oh, you're Sherry's husband, good to meet you. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. And I'm like, wow, we just so much love your story and what you guys are doing together and how you're building. So again, showing up to events just gives that legitimacy to what you're doing, that you're actually running a business. This is a real thing. This is not just for pocket change, unless you want it for pocket change, but you could take it so much farther. And that support and that work and that teamwork is so important. Yeah, and commenting on her stuff, and every once in a while I'll throw a shout out post for my wife too. Another voice legitimizing what she's doing and calling authenticity to it. So those are some of the things. And again, it's morphed through the years. There's been 9 years, and I am now working the business kind of on the front lines with my wife, Sherry, as well. So again, that's in the last 6 months I've actually been able to start doing that myself and taking more of a front seat in this business with her side by side, as opposed to being the guy in the background, making meals, making sure her phone was plugged in, giving her space, making sure the equipment's working well. So yeah, it's definitely changed over 9 years.
Yeah, that's really good. Thank you, Wes, for sharing. When you're talking about, it brings validation and encouragement. I just one thought that came to mind was, thinking of like an old school baseball manager when a player has an argument with an umpire and then the manager comes out and he's willing to go and fight for his player and spit flying out and he's fighting for his player, arguing with the umpire. So it just in that player, makes him feel valued and cared for, and so it's kind of a silly example, but I like it. Yeah, that was really good. I think there's a little bit of a lot of good stuff in there for encouragement and good practical ways to help and support. So that wraps that part up. Sarah, is there any questions in the chat that could be answered?
No questions. Awesome comments, and love hearing all this, but no questions.
Okay, awesome. So we did a good job sharing. Oh, perfect. I was planning on this not being a long Zoom, so that's so I'll just leave the door open for each for all three of you. If you have anything that you would like to share as far a word of encouragement for any guys listening or listening to this in the future, so just I'll leave that open to all three of you to just any time, just encourage us. Go ahead, Wes.
I just got something too I was going to add, is the people that you meet in this business are incredible. They're working not only to build themselves up, but they're working to have a very real impact on everyone around them. They are always looking out for the better of the other people. Very selfless. And I found this over and over and over again in thousands of other people in this business that I've met. It's so encouraging to get back, get together with them and find out what they're doing and hear the impact that they're making. And, there's a quality of people in this business that I haven't seen, and I have been in a lot of different businesses. So I would say the relationships that are built in this is incredible.
Totally agree with that, Wes.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Plexus, I probably would have, never become friends with Wes and John. And I consider them really good friends of ours. And anytime I hang out with them, I'm always encouraged. And so,
We have one question in the chat now. How have you guys grown personally through supporting your wives in this business, and has it brought you closer together?
Has it brought us and our wives closer together? Is that what it's asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely brought me and my wife closer together. It's hard not to. Like it's drove us apart a couple times too, but I think that's just the natural flow of just relationships. And so, because I was gone, 16 hours a day in construction, and then I came home to being home 24 hours a day, and I thought, these people are nuts. I got to go back to road construction, But so it's a working out of all those things. But we're absolutely closer. We're not just a husband and wife and who just crash in bed at night and hope for the best the next morning. We're planning together, we're scheduling together, we're praying together, praying for people, we're ministering to people together. It's honestly changed our life, not just from a business and from a product standpoint or health standpoint, but just relationships, even within my own home. It's given me the opportunity, not only with her, to grow together, but also to grow closer to my own children, because I'm with them. We have more time, we have more opportunity to spend time together than what we had before. And so it's improved. I think it's improved every relationship within our home for sure.
That's so good, Justin. I think it's really benefited us to have me have more belief in Charlotte and be vocal about that. I think a lot of wives feel like they are just the support of their husbands, and it should be that way, but it shouldn't end there, right? It's so important that us as husbands support our wives and believe in them and allow them to dream as well. I think that's probably the biggest way that I've grown personally, is understanding the value in that, in my wife's dreams, and supporting her alongside that. I think that's been huge for our relationship as well.
yeah, I agree with all that. In like Justin says, I think it's for me, it's Sarah was doing Plexus when we got married, and so I was always traveling, weeks at a time to different countries for work, and so I came home from overseas for like a 2 or 3 week job, and on a Thursday, and we got married on a Sunday, and that was my last job, and so I I didn't do that going being married, so I did have some short jobs when we were married, but just if I were to think about having that kind of job, having kids and then coming, yeah, it would definitely improve every area of your relationship, because you can be there during the day, and I never want to feel like my kids, even if I'm on an important call, if they need something, they can come in. And I think it's still important to set boundaries, but at the same time, if there's something that were to come up, they have the freedom, and they know that you're there for them. And just being there for your kids emotionally, it's a big part of relationship. And it's definitely such a big blessing to able to do what we're doing.
I think one thing it's really helped us with is communication, number one. And like Justin says, sometimes it kind of ebbs and flows, but the direction has always been up. And learning to communicate has definitely been a big area that we've grown together in. Also, like Justin says, I came from working on the ranches and feedlot where you're gone 12, 14 hours a day, and you come home, you crash, get up the next day, do it again. And the one place I was on we're, 12 days on, 2 days off. So there wasn't a lot of family time in there. And the family wasn't really welcome with me on that ranch. And so, making that switch to being home 24 hours a day with the family, and then turning this around to taking the kids out with me. So I work for local ranchers now. I do contract work now, what I used to do full time, and now I take my family with me. So that's been a whole nother level of involvement in our family, where I'm mentoring the kids through the day, and I'm working with my wife, and we're putting schedules together. So there's been a lot of things that have had to change to make this work, but a lot of growth that's been amazing. I mean, it's all been amazing growth, but a lot of growth that has just happened because we're working together all the time.
One thing I would just add, one thing that we've, I guess, grown is like being intentional about growing and reading books, and sharing what we're learning as we're reading, and things like that. Like, and for me, I guess I kind of go through seasons where I'll read the physical book, and I'll do a lot of audio books, and sometimes I go listen. And if it's really awesome, I'm definitely getting that book and reading it as well. And but yeah, just being able to share, just listening to good and positive stuff, and setting boundaries in relationships, and just surrounding yourself with positive people, with like-minded people, and and just growing in that, and hanging out with people that you want to become like, and being able to share, and talk about books that you've read, and what you're learning and growing in, is pretty cool. And in that, you kind of go through seasons where you probably read more than other times, but I think it's good being consistent in that. And any other words of encouragement from you guys before we close?
There's another question here I think is a really good question. It says, what's your top advice to men who don't support their wives and talk negatively about MLMs, etc.? I'll try not to get too passionate here. I'm not going to give advice to those men anyway, because they're not going to listen. They probably don't support their wives in any other area either. Just is what it is. Sorry if that offends you. I'm not getting paid to do this, so I can't get fired. So like, I just, I don't care. Like, honestly, if you're not going to support your wife in an endeavor that she's doing, it's probably not the only area that you're not supporting her in. So what we have done is, as we coach people, we have coached several people on our team and mainly women who their husbands don't support them, or they belittle them or make fun of them. That's not a network marketing issue. That's a hard issue. That's a relationship issue. And what we do is we encourage the wife typically. I always say marriage trumps Plexus, marriage trumps multi-level marketing. So, I mean, we encourage them to be honorable and respectful to their husband. If the husband doesn't support that or respect it, then do it when he's not home, or don't be on your phone when you should be talking to him. There's some basic relationship things I think you can work through. That's a short question, but there's a lot. We could do a 30-minute or an hour long Zoom call on that. And my wife gives great advice to women. She's like, hey, I mean, I'm not going to steal her thunder, but she'll just say, hey, just take care of him. What's he want? Well, give it to him, then go do your Plexus work, whatever. Make him a sandwich, or rub his back, or rub his feet, put him to bed, and then go make your calls. She has a really positive spin on how to, do it well and do it very respectful. But men who do that, again, they probably don't support them in other areas as well. It's probably not a Plexus issue. It's a marriage issue. But there's ways also that I think the wife can you know, if your husband's there and he wants your attention, don't be on your phone talking about Plexus, right? If it's a source of irritation, I think there's some basics that you can work through together on that and come to some common ground probably.
I love that answer, Justin. That's so good. The I think there are a lot of husbands who it is a marriage issue, it is a personality issue. And I think there's others where it's a blend of that and they just don't know what this opportunity actually is. So have them watch something like this, have them reach out to somebody who really understands what they have here. And yeah, I love the encouragement that you gave Justin too for the wife, where this is something you can get passionate about. It's very worth getting passionate about. But when you're passionate about something, it's really easy to not have that balance. So I know it's always meant a lot to us men when we still know that we're important to our wives, and we can talk through things, we can communicate through things, and we don't feel like we're competing with Plexus, we are completing with Plexus, right? So yeah.
When you first read the question, Justin, the first thing that came to mind was get over yourself, just because it's to me it could be a pride issue, but that was really good advice that you gave. And another thing that Sarah has often said is work the business and show him the paycheck, make him changes, and he'll come around and change his mind. Show him the paycheck. And
yeah, take him to Hawaii or Mexico once on one of the paid trips that change their mind. Usually.
That'll do the trick. Any other questions, Sarah?
No, I think you're good to wrap it up.
All right. So, well, I guess some of the questions were encouragement, but unless you guys have anything on top of that, any word of encouragement for any guys listening?
That was good, Abe. Thank you so much for lining this up and initiating it.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. It was on my heart, so I thought of some guys that would be great and had some different characteristics and how they help, and you know, that to kind of bring a little bit of, you know, not just one-dimensional thing to the table, and it was a lot of great encouragement in a practical ways to help and you know, for us to all grow in. So thanks a lot, Justin and Wes and John. You know, what's great about this Plexus community is you know, none of these guys that shared are on our team or my direct upline, and they're all willing to come on. John and Wes are sidelines of ours, and Justin, we have mutual acquaintance and friends. We've actually never met in person, but because of some mutual friends, you know, it's, you know, you get to see a little bit, I guess, into their lives maybe, and it's just a pleasure, and I look forward to meeting Justin. And it just, you know, that to what one of you guys were saying before, the relationships, and this is the community that Plexus brings. You know, just, you know, willing to do things, and you know, it's one Plexus, so go Plexus. All right, thanks a lot, guys. We'll close it. We'll see ya. Bye.